What the? Always nice if they park in front of your studio. Recycle yourself, dudes. And today we actually have 2 new interns, so let's go and meet them. Okay, so here we have the new interns, and the first one is Jason, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what school do you do?
I am study on CBOP.
CBOP,
Yeah.
so that's graphical design,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do in your internship?
I'm going to design posters, banners. I'm going to help backstage, take photos.
Backstage photos. And you're also going to do video?
Yeah.
So what kind of video program do you use?
Adobe Premiere, nothing else.
Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
Well, we're an Adobe influencer, so that's great.
Okay.
And we also have another intern. Hey Kim.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good.
So which school are you from?
Frisian Poort in Drachten.
Friese Poort. That translates
Poort.
great in English.
Frisian Gate.
The Frisian Gate.
Yes.
And she has a great sense of humor, so that's going to be awesome. Hey, your internship is a little bit shorter, right? So it's about how many months?
10 weeks.
10 weeks. Okay, that's real short for us. And what are you going to do?
Cleaning stuff.
Cleaning. No, we don't use our interns to clean. So what do? You do graphical design or photography?
Photography.
Photography. So you are going to help me during the workshops
I
with
hope
lighting
so.
setups. Awesome. So it's going to be fun. Hey, I leave you guys to work. And you guys are going to see them more in our vlog, of course. Because, well, Kim is going to be here for 10 weeks. And Jason, how long are you going to be here?
Good question.
To June.
To June.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
And have fun. They were still a little bit shy. But that will change. Now, without any kidding, we always have a really relaxed working environment. So the first day, the interns are always a little bit quiet and shy. And sometimes they stay that way, and that's okay. But most of all, they open up in about 1 or 2 days. And they see how much fun it is over here. So I'm not worried at all. Okay, officially today I'm free. But as you know from me, free doesn't really come in my vocabulary. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to upload the audio file from yesterday's interview with the comic dugout. Because we recorded that on the Zoom recorder. Because via Skype, you know, it's great. But for a podcast, I don't think the audio is up to par. And when I'm done with that, I actually have to take the RV out for a small drive because it's been standing still for a few months. And I want to make sure that the battery doesn't die. So that's second on the agenda. And after that, I'm gonna go home and I'm actually gonna bring all the Wacom products with me. And this Saturday I have a masterclass, actually 2, at Camera Nu, explaining all the new stuff from Wacom, like the new Intuos Pro paper, the new Mobile Studio Pro, and of course the new Cintiq Pro. So I can play this afternoon with all the new Wacom stuff, so that's gonna be awesome. And today we also have a new Q&A. So I just posted online if you have any questions. So that part, of course, will also be in today's episode. But first, copying the audio file to internet. Powering up all our hard drives. So this is actually all the hard drives we use. So we only use the bottom 2. And that's all the photography and video work. So this is online constantly. And this is done with ASATA. And we also can use USB, but we use ASATA at the moment. And over there, we have our Synology NASes. And I absolutely love those because they are very fast and very reliable. And we can actually update them from a distance. Like, for example, oops, let's zoom out because this is really close. There we go. And we can even remote access them if we need any files or whatever, if we have a fast internet connection. And you have to always have 2 backups at least, and preferably 3. 3. And why 3? Well, very simple. 1 backup is okay, but they're often in the same building. And of course, when disaster happens, it can happen in that same building. So make sure you always also have an off-site backup. So what we have is we have the towers over there with the eSATA. Those are really fast direct connection. Then we have the Synology, and that's our backup on a NAS. So if one drive fails, we can still replace that drive and nothing is going wrong. And then I have a third backup, and that's actually in my parents' house. That's about 6 miles from here. And that's where we store all our data from previous years. And every so many times we also bring a hard drive there. It's not a fail-safe solution, of course, because that doesn't exist, but it's pretty close. Now here you guys going, why not online? Our internet, it's incredibly slow. So we can't do anything online. But in the future, if we have fiber, we're going to start backupping online, of course. Okay, now really have to get to work. Okay, now since I switched to the PC, there's one thing that I really found that is incredibly important, and that's keep your drivers updated. And at the beginning I was a little bit worried, because the thing is, there are so many components in a PC, so how the heck do you get all those drivers updated? Because with the Mac it's simple, it's in the operating system, but with the PC there's so many different. So do you have to surf over and over on the net, get all the new drivers, etc.? No. There's a program for it, and there's a free version and actually a paid version. Now, we're not affiliated with this program, so I'm not getting any money from this. I just absolutely love this program, and I think if you're on a PC, this is a must-have without any doubt. And the program is actually called Driver Easy. You can just let it scan. As you can see here, I have 3 devices that need updated drivers. 2 unplugged ones, an HP, which I will not update. And my Realtek Audio has a new updated driver, and you can actually see if you press here what the old driver is and the new driver. And of course you can decide for yourself if you want to update this. Now in the free version you can download the driver, but you have to install it yourself manually. If you buy it, you can just press update all, and it will start updating, create a restore point, and well, you're all set. So check out Driver Easy. It's pretty cheap, and it's an incredible asset for your PC in my opinion. Actually, it's a must-have, I think. The other piece of software I really advise you guys to get is actually an uninstaller. Now, most programs actually have an uninstall option, but those program options aren't what they're supposed to be. Now, in Windows, of course, you know, you have the registry, and the registry over time can get, well, let me put it this way, bloated. And that means that your computer slows down, there are wrong calls in the registry, so actually your computer can become unstable. Now over the years everything has gone way better with Windows, of course, but it's still there. And the uninstallers that come with the programs often only delete the program, but they leave stuff in the registry or they leave files on your hard drive, so you don't want this. Now, there are many options, but I found actually the following one very interesting. It's again a paid program. We're not affiliated with those guys, and I just advise it to you guys because we tried a few out and I really love this one. Okay, the one I'm using is actually called Revo Uninstaller Pro. And also here you can try out for about 30 days and then you have to buy it, but it's not expensive. As you can see here, it shows you all the software you have installed. And you can actually uninstall the software, and it also scans your registry for any stuff that is left, and it also scans your hard drive for anything else that's left. Okay, uploading the audio file to Dropbox. We use Dropbox to share files with, well, almost everybody. It's, I think, one of the best solutions, and it's free with a certain amount of size. And if you bring in others, you get more disk space. So we're now at about, I believe, 70 gigs. And that's way more than enough for what we do with it. So Dropbox, without any doubt, highly recommended for sharing stuff. But I think if you don't know what Dropbox is, you probably have been living in a box. So Dropbox. Finally, on the PC app software, because I don't want to bore you guys with that too much, it's one that you also have to have on your computer, and this one is actually also in a free version, and that's called CC Cleaner. Now what does that do? It scans your registry and it scans your hard drive and makes sure that everything is working in order. Run it about once every month or so and your computer will be fine. And then here's CC Cleaner. So you can do your caches of Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer, and all the other stuff. You can do a registry clean, so it can look for missing shared DLLs, unused files extensions, and what's more. This is something that you really have to have on your PC. And of course you have a lot of tools like the uninstall, but that's actually where we use the Revo uninstaller. But before I go out, creating some backups. Very important. Never forget it, because you never know when disaster strikes. Okay, let's drive the RV. I don't think this is gonna work because the alarm doesn't want to go offline, so that probably means that or the house batteries are empty or the whole system is dead. So let's hope the first one only, which would be weird because we actually have solar panels. So let's see what's going on. Okay, this looks better because we still have a clock, so that would mean that the normal battery is still operational. Okay, let's see. Okay guys, here we go. Okay, that sounds good. Because it's a diesel engine, we have to wait for the warming up. Come on. Whew, there we go. I don't think I should have waited a little bit more longer, like 2 or 3 weeks and it would be dead. Okay, so let's take her for a little spin that all the batteries can charge and then back home.
Hello, Frank. You said the alarm wasn't working, but it is.
It is working again, so that probably means we now have more power.
So, where are you gonna go to?
I'm just gonna drive a little bit to make sure that the batteries stay charged, and that will probably mean that I will be driving for about half an hour and then come back, because we need the RV for our next workshop abroad, and that is actually in a week.
In Germany.
In Germany.
March 5. Should I call to the camper company to fix the window?
Yep, because we
That
have one window that
drop
doesn't
it over there.
that won't go down anymore. So we have to fix that one before we go. Okay, so give the camera to me. And Anouk is actually gonna close some doors in behind the closed doors, and then I'm gonna take her for a little spin. Even after all these years, it still stuns me that some people don't realize how big an RV is. Like, when you take a corner and there's this car coming up, yeah, we can still make it. And they almost hit the side of the RV for the very simple reason they're probably late for an appointment. Come on, guys, these RVs are big. Don't take a risk, because in the end, you'll lose with a normal car, but you have a lot of damage. This one was okay, so we didn't hit anything. So I got this weird DAB2 error, digital audio, but I have to actually find it online to see how I update it, because the problem is if you don't use it for a while, it goes out of power, and I think it lost its digital audio list. So let's see how we get that back in. Okay, so we can bring... Okay, I can bring the RV into the repair center for the window screen, and I asked Anouk to download a new firmware for the car stereo, because whatever I try, I can't get it to work. So maybe there was an update, because everything else works, only the digital system doesn't work. So we're going to try to put an update in there and see what happens. And there we have Anneweek. Hello Anneweek.
Hi.
So you downloaded it?
Yeah, I hope this is the right file. It
Okay.
was from October 2016, so it could be.
Well, who knows? Well, we're going to try it. I hope it doesn't explode. No music. Yeah, sure, it should be a firmware update. Okay, Anneweek, second try, and now I think we have success, right?
I hope so.
It always helps to print out some of the
Manual.
stuff. And let's see if it works after this, but we have good hopes. Okay, we just parked the RV here. And let's hope that they can fix it. Okay, and Anneweek is picking me up to bring us back home. Okay, now we live not in a very big town, but there's still some stores that we don't know. So I just saw this one, so let's look inside. Okay, not that interesting, but it's a new second-hand store, and we love second-hand stores for the very simple reason you can get a lot of stuff for your photo shoots. Okay, you know those moments where you feel that your phone isn't there, and you feel your pockets and you feel everywhere, and there you have your phone. Well, it wasn't in my pocket, it wasn't anywhere. So Anneweek used Find My Phone, and that's awesome from Apple that they have an app like that. And I actually left it in the RV, so I drove very fast to get my phone back, and we're now in our home ready for lunch, and we have all this stuff from Wacom here, and it's time to test that out. So, because on a Saturday I'm gonna teach the 2 masterclasses at Camera Nu, and I have to introduce the new Wacom gear. So it's time to get it to work. Okay, I've now connected the Cintiq Pro to my MacBook Pro, because we're going to do all the tests on the MacBook Pro, because that's the one I'm going to be using at Camera Nu. Of course, together with my Mobile Studio Pro, but for testing, etc., I'm going to use the MacBook. And this is the new Cintiq Pro. Now, you have to connect with the MacBook the link, and of course here all the cables are, well, not as nice as they should be. But you have the USB, Thunderbolt, and then you have the USB-C to the Cintiq Pro. And of course, normally if you have a laptop that actually has USB-C, you can leave the link out and just use USB-C. So that saves you a lot of junk. And this is where you actually, and this is maybe funny for some of you guys, but this is the old setup. And when you have a new laptop, you only have one cable. So in that case, no more dongle circus. And now we actually have the dongle circus. Yep. It happens. Okay, back in the car, because we just got a call that our RV is already repaired. It was just a spring that was a little bit rusty, so they already repaired it, so we can already pick it up. So that's great news. Believe it or not, but we're actually gonna get snow. Okay, with the car stereo we have a little bit less luck. I have to get it out and send it in because, well, they think it's actually defective. Okay, while waiting for the download for the paper version of Wacom, and we have slow internet, so that takes a while, let's do some Q&A. Okay, the question I got in is actually from Frank, and what's in the name? He asked me, if I see you working on location, you don't bring a lot of softboxes. Now, why is that? The explanation is very simple. Softboxes can be very fragile, and on location I don't want anything to happen to my gear. But most of all, on location I need a little bit more power. I love to do the day-to-night stuff, And the maxi lights from Elengrom are absolutely gorgeous for that. You have a lot of light output and it's just a great modifier. And while transporting, you also have to be careful that you don't take a lot of space. And a softbox, of course, I can disassemble, or take apart. And the maxi light you can just put in the car and you can put two on top of each other and they don't take up a lot of space. And with the grids, they're absolutely amazing. So the reason is double. One, I don't want to take my softboxes apart and then put them back together again. And with the Rotalux system, by the way, from Elengrom, it doesn't take a lot of time, but I'm still afraid that it will damage and it eats light. And a maxi light or a beauty dish or any smaller light source that has a reflector or a silver inlay gives you that extra pop on location. So that's why you don't see me using a lot of softboxes on location. Although the 70 centimeter, also from Elengrom, I do take with me sometimes. And that's also the Rotalux system where you can very easily just fold it together like an umbrella. So that works really fast. And I really love that modifier. So it's not true that I don't use softboxes on location. I just don't use them a lot. Okay, another question was actually, what is your favorite modifier? And in all honesty, I don't know. In the studio, I absolutely love the 1 meter octave from Elengrom with a Light Tools grid. It really gives you that nice shape of light. On location, I think it's the Maxi Light with a grid, which I really like. But I also love strip lights. For me, it's a little bit different. There isn't a favorite modifier. I have a certain image in my head that I want to create. And I find the modifier that actually fits that look. So that can be a strip light with a grid, a strip light without a grid, but it can just as easily be a reflector with a gel. So I don't really have the ultimate modifier. And the same goes with lenses and gear, by the way. So I have a favorite camera, which is actually when I don't know what to expect, the A7R II from Sony. And when I do know what to expect, and if I have total control over lighting, I absolutely love the medium format system from Mamiya Leaf. And with lenses, it's a little bit more difficult. There goes the same thing as with modifiers. There is really not a favorite lens. And if I look at what's the most on my camera, it's actually the 24-70, the Sony G Master, because that lens is very versatile. And I'm not really the kind of guy for primes. I like to have that option of zoom. So I think if I have to point out one favorite lens, it would probably be the 24-70 from Sony. Okay, and I got another question in, and this one is actually from Alan Sarinelli. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Assume you have an iMac 5K as your main studio machine and a late 2015 MacBook Pro on the road. No. I used to have a Mac Pro as my main machine, and we actually switched over to the PC around Christmas. So that was a big shock at first, but in all honesty, it now works and it's blazingly fast and just for a fraction of the price. And my main machine on the road is actually the Mobile Studio Pro 16. And I still have a MacBook Pro, which is actually end 2014. And that one, for the time being, it won't be upgraded and it won't go, because I still need a Mac for some of the stuff that I do. Okay, if you had to choose between the Cintiq Pro 16 or a Mobile Studio Pro 16 and an Intuos Pro Large, which one would you choose and why? It really depends on your workflow, you know. When you are on location, let me put it this way. At the moment, I feel that the Mobile Studio Pro 16, if you have the budget, is the best choice. For the very simple reason, it replaces your laptop, plus you have a great device when you're at home behind your computer to actually use it as a Cintiq. So the 16 Pro, Mobile Studio Pro, without a doubt. Now, if you don't have that budget, the Intuos Pro is absolutely awesome. I'm actually testing one at the moment, as you can see here. But that's the large one. I would actually prefer the medium, as mentioned before. So it's difficult to say. You really have to find it out for yourself. For me personally, I love the Cintiqs. So I would go for the Mobile Studio Pro or for the Cintiq Pro. I currently use the new Intuos Pro Large with the iMac and the previous Intuos Pro Medium on the road. Okay, so if you want to upgrade something, then certainly take a look at the Cintiqs, because they're absolutely stunning. In your opinion, how much more advantageous, I know what you mean, or I mispronounce it probably, with using a tablet with a screen B. I'm a landscape fine art photographer. And again, that really is hard to tell you. I always thought that the Cintiqs were really for the guys that drew and painted, and I'm not a drawer or painter. But as soon as I started using the Cintiqs, I absolutely fell in love with it. The tactile feel, the whole sense of just being in there with the picture. Now, I can zoom into 100% and really do some stuff that I normally would only be able to do on 200 or 400%. I do have to be honest, my eye and hand coordination seems to suck. Because I see some people doing art on an Intuos Pro, and I still have problems drawing a circle on an Intuos Pro. And in all honesty, I still have problems drawing a circle on a Cintiq. But at least it looks a little bit less like an egg that doesn't close. If you know what I mean, right? So it is very, very personal. My personal opinion, check out the Cintiqs. Because they're absolutely awesome. And as soon as you start working with them, you will probably fall in love. Okay guys, we're almost done with today's episode. But not before I leave you with our segment. Okay, today we're gonna look at a photographer that really inspired me and also probably, well, made me to the photographer I am today. I still remember that many years ago I visited my parents and there was nothing to do. And we just turned on the TV and there was this show called Uur van de Wolf. And it was about a photographer, David LaChapelle. And I didn't have any else to do, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna watch that show. And from the first second, I saw this water and a model laying down there, very harsh lighting, and although very flat. And it was just an amazing styling. And I was just going like, what's going on? This is great. And that was just the beginning of the documentary. It became bizarre. It was the weirdest of the weird, but still incredibly inspirational. He made many books, and at the moment he doesn't do any celebrities and fashion anymore, and at one point he was the most asked photographer in the world, so it's not weird that you're inspired by somebody like him. So let's take a look at one of his books. Okay, without a doubt, David LaChapelle is one of my favorite photographers, and this is just one of his books. We have many of them. And his images are very striking, and you could see some nudity, guys, so if you are not into the market of that kind of stuff, don't look now, because, well, he can be pretty graphic, but his work anyway is absolutely stunning. So he shot almost all the greats of the world, like Eminem, Madonna, and as you can see, the storytelling in the images are incredibly important. And this is something that I absolutely love to see in photography. And it's bizarre, it's absolutely strange. You don't want to know what's going on in his head, but the images are just amazing. And bright colors, everything is nicely lit, although very flat, so it's not really my style of lighting. But I love it for the extreme styling, the stories, and just to browse through. It's an amazing book. And an amazing photographer, by the way.
So this is where you get your inspiration, Frank?
This is where I get a lot of my inspiration from, yes. Because that's also why this part is called Inspiration, of course.
And you follow him online also?
Yep, I follow him online. And this is just one of his books. He has many more. And it's always an inspiration to look at these images. And it's not all perfect models, as you can see. It's all real people and really weird people. So I love his creativity. So check him out online, David LaChapelle.